Hello buddies, thank you for coming to my live room. I'm SPOTO CCIE tutor and welcome to join me today. Everyone is welcomed to enter our live broadcast room. Hi, welcome new members. 2025 comes to an end. Which IT certification you want to get? Okay, I see many of you want CCIE certification. Nice. Let me take you to be CCIE certified in 2025 easily. Do you know SPOTO has passed CCIE version 1.1 lab recently? Yes, it is a great news for us. Today, our live broadcast room will explain the new requirements of CCIE version 1.1 lab and the difference between the old and new CCIE version 1.1 RS part and also the guidance for your exam preparation tips. If you missed last time, don't miss it again this time. So, let's watch the stream and let me tell you more about it in details and offer unprecedented products with huge discounts. Don't miss it. Don't forget to like and follow our social media like Facebook and YouTube for more updates. Welcome Vicky. If you are the first time to come to my live stream, hope you can enjoy the time. Hi Aaron, welcome my friend. You have same name as one of my classmates in college. Thanks for joining. Here is the timeline of today's schedule. I will discuss Cisco's CCIE lab exam overview and the difference between the old and new CCIE RS part. Of course, test-taking techniques will be included. Don't miss this. Stay tuned and join. This webinar is worth $199 and now you can learn at free. Yes, free, but exclusive for SPOTO learners. Let's start. This is my IE number. I belong to SPOTO Gold Instructor. I'm proficient in Cisco and Huawei datacom technologies. 5 years of experience in after-sales technical support from manufacturers, and 2 years of project management experience. Secondly, I'm familiar with the network construction and troubleshooting experience of routing, switching, and wireless products in different projects. Last but not least, I am responsible for course development and training for some product lines of the manufacturer. Create the development of online platform courses, help manufacturers channel growth and technology improvement, and help the company's channelization strategy. I would like to briefly share with you my previous experience in taking the CCIE exam. I hope it will be helpful to you and reduce the appearance of some unnecessary problems. I believe everyone's efforts are to make money, right? At that time, I felt that my salary was very low, and then there were people around me who were working on the internet, and their salary was much higher than my own. So I tried to get in touch with the internet. However, when I searched for materials to study online, I encountered many difficulties, such as lack of time, and there was no place to exchange questions that I didn't understand. So I signed up for a learning institution and found that others had prepared learning materials and a practice environment for you. However, in the process, I also encountered various VPNs, which was a big difficulty. Then I kept summarizing and communicating with teachers and classmates. In the end, it only took me 2 months to pass the CCIE exam at one time. Let's move to the CCIE overview. Before the instruction, I would like to let you see our CCIE holders' latest pass report. Yes, we have latest passing report now for CCIE version 1.1 lab. Hurry to join us and be CCIE certified easily. 2,500 plus IE from SPOTO. The success story you can repeat. Do you want to be CCIE expert like them? Yes, let's get CCIE certified with SPOTO before 2025. Now, let's unlock the passing secrets one by one. I will make brief introduction of CCIE first. The Cisco Certified Inter-Network Expert (CCIE) credential is one of the most prestigious networking certifications in the world issued by Cisco, and it is meant to identify top network engineering experts. Employers see CCIE as one of the most influential networking certifications a network engineer can have, and those who possess them are often industry leaders due to their extensive knowledge. You must pass both a written and a practical lab exam to obtain CCIE certification. With CCIE, you can take your place as a technical leader. Technology areas including enterprise infrastructure, data center, service provider, enterprise wireless, security, and collaboration. First of all, enterprise infrastructure. This track certifies professionals who work with complex network infrastructures. It tests their planning, operating, and troubleshooting skills. Secondly, collaboration. Individuals employed as collaboration architects or voice and video network managers may seek this certification. It tests their skills in designing, deploying, operating, and optimizing collaboration solutions. Thirdly, data center. If you work in a data center, you may find this certification useful. It measures your competency in the planning and exclusion of data center infrastructure and other related topics. Then let's come to security. This certification verifies your ability to understand, address, and prevent various modern security risks and vulnerabilities while applying industry best practices. Let's come to service provider. Its expert-level network engineers working with internet service providers may seek this certification to expand their service capabilities. Last but not least, enterprise wireless. This certification shows you demonstrate a broad range of knowledge regarding both wireless networking and wireless local area networking technologies. Which CCIE track do you pursue? You can leave a comment below. Okay, I see many of you want EI track. Alright, EI is very popular in current market. I will explain the EI lab details in later part. Don't hesitate to give our webinar a thumbs up. Join the study group and stay tuned to get huge gifts. Free EI lab demo during the live webinar. Let's come to CCIE salary. CCIE is widely considered the industry's highest level IT certification program, commonly referred to as the Doctorate of Networking. It equips candidates with excellent internet networking skills They are simply the best in the industry. However, do you know the CCIE salary? Let's see the CCIE average salary in USA 2023, for example. The average CCIE salary in the USA is $146,000 per year. And you can see from the right chart, there are huge gaps for the salary between certified and non-certified professionals. People with CCIE certified earns almost 20% than the non-certified. So you can get the idea of why CCIE is so popular. This data is very real, because my friends and I are both CCIE certificate beneficiaries. If you have the CCIE certificate, you must go to work in a big company, which will make your entire technical practice and salary grow rapidly. I think many of you want to get CCIE certified due to this high salary. But the problem is how to get it right. It is a difficult exam by yourself. Don't worry, I'll help you prepare for the lab exam well. Now let's come to CCIE job titles. The entry-level job titles in the industry for a Cisco certified Inter-Network expert include network engineer, network architect. The entry-level job titles in the industry include network engineer, network architect, Cisco engineer, and network analysts. The mid and senior level designations for CCIE certified professionals include SR network engineer, Cisco consultant, senior security engineer, CCIE systems engineer, lead network engineer, Cisco network architect, and senior network support engineer, among others. According to pay scale, the salary for different job titles vary based on years of experience. Countries may be, but it can be ensured that there are huge potentials for CCIE certification holders and great salary enhancements for CCIE networking professionals. CCIE has proved with many opportunities for employment and job hopping to earn high salaries. For example, I had 2 colleagues before. They interviewed the same company. The skills of the 2 were not very different, but one of them had CCIE certification, and the other only had a CCNP certificate. The result must be obvious. The person with the certificate is finally admitted. Therefore, the CCIE certificate is our stepping stone. Especially some large enterprises attach great importance to academic qualifications. But when our academic qualifications are not enough, CCIE can help increase our personal advantages. So, if you have the energy, I highly encourage you to hurry up and learn CCIE. Now, let's go to the next part. How to obtain the CCIE certificate. you need to pass one core exam and one practical lab exam. Let's move to CCIE exam overview first. CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure Certification validates your skills with complex enterprise infrastructure solutions. To get CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure certified, you have to pass 2 exams. One is the CCIE EI written exam, exam in code 350-400.1. This exam tests a candidate's knowledge of implementing core enterprise network technologies, including virtualization, infrastructure, network assurance, security, and automation. After passing the written test, you can take the second module test. And the second is the CCIE hands-on lab exam, covering enterprise networks through the entire network lifecycle, from designing and deploying to operating and optimizing. Okay, let's move to the lab part. As you know that the EI lab has updated to version 1.1. This exam is 8 hours total, with the first module being 3 hours and the second module being 5 hours. Candidates will be tested on varying technologies and solutions listed in the exam topics throughout both modules. While both modules independent from each other, there is a progressive storyline that will be built upon throughout the entire 8 hours lab practical exam. Candidates will not be able to negotiate back and forward between modules. Alright, we have talked about lots of CCIE lab exam overview. Now, let's go deep into the key points today. CCIE version 1.1 lab new requirements. If you want to get 100% real CCIE lab passing tips and study materials, 100% real IT exam dump, IT exam latest news, updated exam tips, and community support, just click the link on the comment zone to join the group for more study guides. What I want to share with you today is the topic that everyone is most concerned about: differences between EI Lab's new and old RS requirements. The topology has not changed, only some requirements have changed. This is the complete routing and switching module, which requires us to accurately ensure that the phenomenon of each requirement can occur normally. If there is a problem with the routing and switching part, it will directly affect the SDN module. Routing and switching mainly assesses candidates through artificial configuration and multiple choice questions. Let us briefly look at some of the requirements of CCIE Lab. S1 requirements. Ensure the STP features are configured on the switches at headquarters according to the following requirements. The protocol must support a separate instance for each VLAN. The protocol must support only 3 states. All endpoint-facing ports must bypass the SDP forwarding delay without configuring individual switch ports. SW101 must be the root bridge for VLANs 2000 to 2001 and default VLAN, with SW102 as a secondary. Use the lowest possible priority values to archive this. SW101 and SW102 must ignore superior BPDUs for the other switches at headquarters. While superior BPDUs are received, traffic must not be forwarded on the receiving port. As to additional requirements, ignore any other VLANs already present on the switches and do not change their configuration. This section mainly examines STP and ether channel. VRRP, HSRP, GLBP. Which gateway protocol is this? S1 requirements. Use a protocol that sends hello messages by using a multicast address of 224.0.0.102 and support up to 4096 groups. Group numbers for each VLAN must match the respective VLAN ID. SW101 must be active and have a priority of 10 above default. SW102 must be standby and have the default priority. Both first hoop gateway must transition to active if their priority becomes superior. Both first hoop gateway switches must generate IRPs for the VLAN by using the MAC address of their respective interfaces. DHCP requests must pass through two first hop switches. As to additional requirements, gateway virtual MAC address for VLAN 2000 must be 40.0C9F.F0D2. Gateway vertical MAC address for VLAN 2001 must be 40.0C9F.F0DC. The active gateway must send periodic packets 3 times faster than default. Failure of the peer must be detected 2 times faster than default. Configure authentication using the most secure method and a simple key string of CCIE NFR4. Ensure no delay before transition to active state and for 1 or 15 seconds. The first S1 requirements. Ensure that OSPF is configured for IP version 4 intra-site routing between all layer 3 non-SDWAN routers at headquarters and data center sites according to the following requirements. All the LSPF neighbors in the data centers and at headquarters must be fully established. As to additional requirements, R11 and R12 routers must have their OSPF adjacencies with peers within headquarters protected with MD5 authentication. Using key ID 1 with the unencrypted key value of CCIE and FR4. R21 eBGP routes should be redistributed into the distribution switches. This section is mainly about OSPF authentication configuration. (1) The LSAs in Global SP1 must not contain information about any transit links. S2. Additional requests. Protect Global SP1 by preventing unauthorized LPer from establishing sections and by blocking spoofed TCP messages. On R1 and R2 configure LDP MD5 globally for a group of LDP peers. R1 and R2 must require a password for all LDP peers. On R3, R4, R5, and R6 configure LDP MD5 on a per peer basis. Use password CCIE and FR4 for all LDP authentication at Global SP1. S1 requirements. Ensure that routers R3, R4, R5, and R6 are provider edge PE routers. The routers must exchange VPN with each other without using a root reflector. The PE routers must import and export all extenders on generalized rules to the FABD2 VRF routing table. R3 must have 5 active BGP peers. Ensure that routers R1 and R2 are provider P routers. These routers must not run BGP and must be used to switch packets based on labels. Ensure all BGP sessions at Global SP1 are secured using the password CCIE and FR4. For additional requirements, R3 must generate warning messages of more than 19,000 prefixes are received from data center CE router and must shut down that BGP session if more than 100,000 prefixes are received from data center. The BGP session must automatically re-establish after 5 minutes. About the requirements, ensure that Dynamic Multipoint VPN (DMVPN) is configured by using router R24 as a hub and routers R61 and R70 are supposed to master the following requirements. Branches must connect to the Internet Service Provider (ISP) and receive a default route via BGP by using a dedicated VRF. All traffic crossing the Internet must be encrypted by using a pre-shared key of CCIE and FRA formats. Make sure you do not use IP addresses of the loopback interfaces to establish the DMVPN between hub and spokes. R24 must use Gigabit Ethernet 1 with its IPsec peers. Interface terminal 0 should carry on using the pre-configured MTU. The third part is about the MVPN. Implement R24 and R61 or R70 to establish the MVPN and then transit routing through EIGRP. The above are the requirements for the new version of RS. If you have learned the old version, you will find that the new version is very simple. The following part is the latest D003 content. This is the current EILAB topology diagram. The new D003 is modified based on the original D001, with some RS section requirements added or changed. Therefore, there are three versions of RS in the current exam: D001, RS1 plus SDN1, D002, RS2 plus SDN2, and D003, RS3 plus SDN1. After a brief introduction to the current version directions, let's take a look at some of the new requirements in D003. For section 1.3 configured as a channel, this part is very simple. It only adds load balancing and fault recovery configurations for each port channel based on D01. That is, configuration is performed on SW101, 102, or 110. There are a lot of changes in section 1.4 network services. As the requirements in the question indicate, the configuration has changed from STP to VRRP, and the group number must be set to the maximum. There are also requirements for neighbor establishment time, and finally, VRRP authentication and encryption are required. Few changes happen in section 1.5 inter-site routing, DCHQ, mainly adding MD5 encryption authentication for OSPF, requiring each device to use loopback port 0 as the RID, and adding OSPF LSA throttling settings for R23. This section, 1.7 MPLS underlay, like the previous one, covers the MPLS underlay. The new requirement, similar to section 1.5, requires all routers to use loopback 0 as the LDP router ID. Another new requirement is LDP authentication between R1 and R2. Section 1.10 BGP fast failover. This part is the same as D001, with only one additional requirement, which is to add encryption authentication to the BGP session between R662. Therefore, we can see that for the new D003, only the RS part based on D001 has changed, while the SDN part of D01 and D003 is exactly the same. Okay, if you want to get latest CCIE version 1.1 lab demo, please type lab demo in the comment zone. How many of you want get the updated lab demo? Okay, I see many of you want to know the lab demo. Alright, join the group and contact admin to get a free demo. Okay, we have talked lots about exam topics and techniques on preparing for the CCIE lab. I think you must wonder how to pass the CCIE lab exam in less time. Also, if you want to boost the salary, it is the best time to choose the SPOTO CCIE lab package, which can help you pass in 3 months. Now, let me tell you the passing secrets with the SPOTO step-by-step and our lab service package. First, lab has 2 modules, including Design and DOO. Design is very simple for SPOTO students, because we have complete information to provide students. This part will not focus on the introduction. We mainly look at the DOO module. SPOTO has clear practice standards for students. For example, it is recommended to complete DOO within 3.5 hours before recommending students to take the exam. For example, RS and SDN each need to be completed within 1.5 hours. Many students find it strange that DOO has 5 hours. Why are the requirements so high? Because candidates may experience various failures in DOO due to nervousness, unfamiliar test environment, etc., which may lead to various failures in DOO, and students need to spend a lot of time to troubleshoot failures. So, follow my standards strictly, and I will give you an effective test preparation experience. Secondly, the reg practice environment we provide for everyone is very sufficient. You can flexibly arrange your spare time to practice through the cloud. The most important thing is that our practice environment is basically the same as the examination room. So, don't worry about your practical difficulties. We have already made study arrangements for you. Our practice environment will separate RS, SDN, programming, and finally have a fusion experience. What you see is our RS practice environment. Everyone will get a unique RS reg practice permission, and when you complete the RS practice, you will help clarify your overall practice quality. I'll tell you where there are deficiencies to improve. And this is our SDN reg practice interface. This is a complete practice environment, including RS and SDN, which is $19.99 incidental to the test room. You can plan your own practice time and adapt to the test room environment for practice in advance. And when you meet the exam standards, we help review your practice process and ensure the quality of your practice. The overall reg practice environment is very convenient, and the main environment is almost the same as the test room. Here I would like to briefly introduce our service process in what you can get if you assign our CCIE laboratory training course. First of all, we provide one-to-one service at the VIP level. Distribute EI lab solutions, all study materials that are the same as the exam content. We provide reg exercises. The reg includes iOS, initial configuration, etc. If you encounter any problems or difficulties during the practice, our tutors will help you solve them through the team view. We provide tutorial videos explaining workbooks and solutions, and it also shows you how to configure it section by section. We will arrange for you to test the quality of practice at each stage to confirm that you meet the test standards. Arrange the spring plan for you, matters needing attention in the exam, etc. Make sure you pass the CCIE in one pass in the exam. Here is the CCIE lab service package you can take a look at. We provide 3 months service time. Thus, you will have enough time to practice, so you can also follow your own timetable. It is flexible. This is our study plan for everyone to pass the EI lab exam at one time. As the CCIE lab has 2 modules, we deliver lab services and learning materials in stages. The first stage, send routing switching solution and RS track. The learning cycle is 3 to 4 weeks through RS rack practice. No need to configure local computer. Practice anytime, anywhere. If you have completed the first stage, we will verify the quality of your practice for you. And after confirming that you meet the test standards, you will enter the SDN stage. Phase 2, we will send the SDA and SDWAN solution and SDA practice rec permissions, and then check each candidate's practice process. Programming is the same, so the practice environment is perfect for everyone to learn. The third stage, synchronizing LAB1 plus new solution. This model is not difficult, basically as long as you are proficient in the old version of DOO. LAB1 plus exam preparation is very fast. Designing materials will be sent out 1 week before the exam. Of course, we will flexibly adjust the study plan according to the characteristics of each student. Some students have strong learning ability and can also take the exam in 1.5 months and pass the exam at one time. Now let's come to my preparation tips for CCIE. Lab requirements and provisioning. Familiarize yourself with and understand the lab topology and requirements, and understanding the provisioning environment for each device. Lab topology data analysis. Practice the lab content in modules and analyze the routing data clearly. Summary and communication. Identify weak points through module exercises. Summarize the defaults and problems you encounter, and share your troubleshooting ideas with your tutor. Improve proficiency. Competency practice the lab version without referring to the solution to improve proficiency and accuracy. Quality inspection. Contact tutors for periodic quality inspections to verify their own shortcomings and consolidate them, communicate with the tutor more, and be able to follow the tutor's test preparation suggestions. These are my exchange experience with CCIE students. I hope to help you pass the CCIE exam. These are feedbacks from our candidates. Our solution is very stable. We use professionalism and service to win the trust of our customers. I know you are almost certain that you can trust us. If you have any other questions, welcome to communicate with us. If you have no further questions, today's webinar is coming to an end. I hope my explanation on CCIE EI Lab new requirements, preparation tips, as well as the SPOTO CCIE service package can help you know why to choose SPOTO and why we can help you pass CCIE Lab fast. Let's get CCIE certified in 2025. You can practice new version now. Don't forget to follow me and see you next time.